Welcome back. In Lesson 3, we're diving into a critical aspect of community paramedicine that directly impacts your safety, professionalism, and patient outcomes, and that's professional boundaries. We'll talk about how boundaries shape the patient-provider relationship, what it looks like when things get blurry, and how to protect yourself physically and emotionally when you're out in the field. Let's get into it. Why professional boundaries matter. As a community paramedic, your dynamic with patients is very different than what you're used to in 911 EMS. Instead of short encounters, you may spend up to an hour or more with each patient, often weekly, over the course of 4 to 8 weeks. You'll be in their homes, seeing their lives up close, building rapport over time. And that makes boundaries absolutely essential. So what are we talking about when we say professional boundaries? Think of them as the invisible line between a professional, therapeutic relationship and a personal one. Boundaries are built on trust, respect, and confidentiality, and they're developed and maintained by you as the provider. They protect the patient, and they protect you. Trust versus over-involvement. Trust is good, trust is vital, but too much involvement, that's a problem. It's helpful to picture your role along a continuum. Under-involvement means you're distant, detached, or inattentive. Over-involvement means you're too emotionally entangled, or you've let your guard down. Where you want to be is the balanced middle, where you're trusted, present, and compassionate, but still professional. That might mean resisting the urge to dive into your patient's personal drama, even if they invite it. It might mean not answering their texts late at night, or saying no to social media requests, offers of dinner, or gifts that feel just a little off. Recognizing challenges and red flags. So what makes maintaining boundaries tough? Well, a few things. Living in a small community where everyone knows everyone, having dual relationships, like being both a provider and a neighbor, sharing too much about yourself, feeling overly responsible for a patient's progress, or responding emotionally when a patient shares something personal or painful. The red flags of boundary violations can be subtle at first. You start thinking about a patient off hours, maybe even fantasizing about them. You want to see them outside of work. You feel like only you can help them. Or maybe you catch yourself sharing your own struggles, frustrations, or even secrets. If you're asking yourself, would I feel okay telling my supervisor or this patient's doctor about this? That's probably your internal boundary alarm going off. Why this matters for everyone. When boundaries blur, things can go sideways, fast. At best, the situation becomes uncomfortable. At worst, there could be legal consequences like harassment claims, emotional harm, especially to vulnerable patients, or even physical danger if the patient misreads your intentions. Let's be clear. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being clear, consistent, and kind without getting personally entangled. Your role as the boundary setter. As the provider, you are responsible for managing boundaries, not the patient. Some patients may test the limits. Others might struggle with chronic illness, mental health issues, or a history of trauma that makes boundaries harder to understand or accept. But it's your job to keep the relationship focused on patient health and safety, maintain a professional emotional distance, and watch out for signs of compassion fatigue, like dreading a visit, feeling irritated or overly attached, or bending rules for a certain patient. Personal safety in the field. Now let's shift to another kind of boundary, physical safety. In community paramedicine, you're not working in controlled environments. You're walking into people's homes, neighborhoods, and sometimes unstable situations. So how do you stay safe? It starts with planning. 3 stages of a home visit. 1. Before the visit. Let your supervisor or dispatch know where you're going and when. Know the patient's history, the address, and the neighborhood. Call ahead so the patient knows you're coming. Park in a visible, well-lit area facing your exit route. Keep valuables locked up. Stay alert during the walk-in. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. 2. During the visit. Listen before knocking. Yelling dogs or chaos are red flags. Identify anyone else in the home and why they're there. Keep your exit path clear and don't let anyone block your way. Maintain situational awareness. Look for mood changes or escalating behavior. Follow universal precautions, gloves, PPE, and safe sharps handling. 3. After the visit. Wash your hands and disinfect your gear. Document everything, especially if something made you feel unsafe. Report any red flags to your supervisor. Building a personal safety plan. Every community paramedic should have a personal safety plan, a simple, repeatable process you can rely on for every visit. Here's what it should include. Pre-visit procedures. Know your route. Review the patient's background. Know your entry or exit points. During visit actions. Maintain space. Keep your back to a wall when possible. Limit personal disclosures. Post-visit steps. Decontaminate. Complete documentation. Debrief if needed. Communication plan. How and when you'll check in. Who you'll contact for backup or emergencies. Personal disclosure policy. Decide in advance what not to share, e.g., family, where you live, social media info. Flexibility is key. Every situation is different. One patient may live on a rural dead-end road, another might be in a busy apartment high-rise. Your safety plan should be simple, flexible, and practical. It should help you feel confident walking into any situation because you've already thought through what to do before anything goes wrong. Quick recap. Professional boundaries protect both you and your patients. Trust is good, but too much involvement can cross a line. Red flags include favoritism, secrecy, emotional entanglement, or romantic thoughts. You're responsible for maintaining boundaries, not the patient. Personal safety starts before the visit and continues afterward. A personal safety plan gives you a framework to stay alert, communicate clearly, and debrief when needed. Outro music fades in. That wraps up Lesson 3. Boundaries and safety aren't just checkboxes. They're the framework that lets you do this job well and do it safely. In Lesson 4, we'll dive into interpersonal communication and how to build trust, gather better information, and connect with patients who might be dealing with serious challenges. Until then, stay sharp and stay safe.